Hi, I'm Kevin, back again with yet another CS62MV Spring 2018 Midterm 1 walkthrough video. And today we'll be working on part C of the downside of default, question 7. Let's see, the method sumOfLists given below is supposed to take in an array of DL list of ints and return a DL list of ints that is equal to the element-wise sum of all the lists. Oh boy, okay. DL list of ints returns a DL list of ints that is equal to the element-wise sum of all lists. Okay, so the example here goes 2 plus 1 plus 3 equals 6. 2 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7. So it's kind of like a generalization of the plus equals, except you can have as many lists as you want. And that's kind of the idea here with DL list of ints array lists. And it says non-destructively computes the sum of given lists. Assumes that all lists are of the same length and that none are null. Pretty nice. Okay, so we are looking for mistakes in sumOfLists. Note that the method makes the listed assumption. It's not a mistake, it's an assumption. Okay. Yeah, I'll just kind of go through this carefully. Public class part C. Looks okay. No errors in the comments. Got to be careful with these mistakes, right? Public static. Okay, that's fine. Am I ever going to use this? I mean, when I see static, you got to be careful and got to think, are we going to, if we end up using this, the concept of this inside the code, that's not good. Returns a DL, please actually underline that correctly, DL list of ints. So our return type needs to be correct. And let's just kind of scan through that. List of ints. So I declare a list of ints and I return that. Oh, okay, that's not good. Yeah, so because we declared it as list of ints here and tried to return that list of ints, the Java compiler, even though we can see that it won't be just any list of ints, it has to be a DL list of ints, the Java compiler isn't convinced and it'll say, hey, return type. Return type is essentially upcast from result, but Java compiler won't have any of it. Oh boy, won't. I hear my apostrophe. Won't have any of it. Yeah, so that's something to notice. I don't think we use this anywhere or reference anything inside the part C class, so we should be okay with the static. sumOfLists, DL list of ints, array lists. So far, so good. Anything else? List of ints result equal list of 0. So we get the first list, and we're assuming that all lists are the same length. Oh, wait, but what if we don't have any lists? Like, even if it's not null, even if lists is not null, we could have like a 0 length array. This could be a 0 length array. Will cause array, or even one, 0 length array will cause array index out of bounds exception. Yeah, because even if list is not null, that's true. Like a 0 length array is not null. It can still cause that array index out of bounds exception because we're indexing from 0 without checking. So that's a really subtle bug. Because we kind of assume that it has to be at least one element for an array, but really you can create a 0 length array as well. Okay, so that's a problem. For int I equals 1, well, it should be okay to save it into list of ints, so that's not a problem. For int I equals 1, I is less than list.length, while I is less than list.length, I plus equals 1, result.plus equals list of I. How does plus equals work? Plus equals is destructive, right? Yeah, plus equals changes the current this, changes the values in my current item, in my current list. So it says it should be, the method should be non-destructive, but method is destructive. 4. Lists of 0. So that's not good. But it certainly does work. It should end up plus equaling all of the values and then in the end return result. But there are 3 of these bugs, so that's pretty rough. Yeah. And in general, kind of our way of our method of going through this was walking through the code bit by bit, being very careful about things like noticing like the return type and just immediately checking that in all instances the return type was correct. Being very thorough, essentially like how the compiler goes through and checks all of these things, and considering all possible inputs. That's like usually the source of a lot of errors is that like the inputs can be pretty crazy. Even though they said that the list couldn't be null, it could certainly be a zero. It could be a 0 length array, which is like a kind of a special edge case you have to be careful about. And just walking through different scenarios and thinking about whether the function was, whether plus equals was destructive or non-destructive, and we found that out by looking back at the code for plus equals and verifying that it worked the way we expected it to.